LibertyTalksNews.com. I want to welcome Susan Shumsky, who's written a book called Ascension. How you doing, Susan?
Great. How are you?
Very good. Now, you are a spiritual teacher. What brought you to this book? Tell us a little bit about your background.
I've been practicing spiritual disciplines for over 40 years. I spent 22 years in the ashram of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who was the guru of the Beatles and Deepak Chopra.
And transcendental meditation.
Yes, transcendental meditation. And then I spent another 20 years studying New Thought and metaphysics, became a doctor of divinity, and I have 7 books in print.
And the new one is called Ascension. And what does Ascension mean? Tell me, what does the title mean?
Actually, Ascension is physical immortality. But it's not exactly physical immortality as you might think of. It's actually transforming the physical body into a light body and then living forever in a body of light, being able to appear and disappear at will and take on any form. So there are a few very rare individuals who have achieved this state of becoming an ascended master.
How do you do that? I mean, you mean we can physically disappear and reappear at will if we achieve that level of mastery, that the human being can do that?
It's possible for a human being to achieve that. But really the first step in achieving that is to attain what we would call a state of spiritual enlightenment, to realize who we truly are, and to realize the truth of our being, to live our true purpose and our true destiny.
You talk about people throughout history in the book who have had moments of great clarity and, in fact, messages because maybe they were in touch with their higher selves, including George Washington at the Battle of Valley Forge, where he saw a golden light. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yes, it was 1777, and George Washington was spending the winter in Valley Forge, and suddenly a beautiful woman appeared in his office, and he was quite surprised because he had given specific instructions not to be disturbed. But he said, well, what are you doing here? She didn't answer, but she pointed towards the east. And then George Washington saw, out of the mist, he saw 3 amazing visions of 3 battles that America would go through. The Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and then a 3rd battle in which all the armies of the world came to America and marched on America. And it would be from Africa, from Europe, and from Asia. And in all 3 of these battles, we would be victorious. And so Washington was amazed by this vision, and he realized that he had just seen the birth and the progress and the destiny of the United States. So and this woman who,
I'm sorry, he was a spiritual master. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that George Washington was a spiritual master. I was saying that he had a visitation from a divine being who gave him this amazing vision, which inspired him to continue with the Revolutionary War.
How do we, and I only have a short time, unfortunately, but in a thumbnail, how do you get there? How do you take that first step to spiritual mastery to get to that place where either you can have these visions or where you can be in touch with that part of yourself that enables you to do the things you're talking about?
Really, meditation is the key. And meditation is very simple. All you have to do is you just sit down in a chair, you close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, get quiet and still and centered and balanced within yourself, and then you simply ask. In fact, the entire premise of everything that I teach is to ask. Ask and it shall be given unto you. So you ask a question, or you ask for guidance, or ask for inspiration, and then you take another deep breath. And then you do what I call the do-nothing program. That means you do nothing, nothing, and less than nothing. And then the still small voice will speak to you within your heart. It will give you instructions. It will give you guidance. It will give you inspiration. And when you follow that guidance, you begin to develop your higher self, and you begin to live your true destiny and true purpose.
Very quickly, because again, we've got a clock running in terms of our satellite, but you say there are 7 choices you can make at death. What does that mean?
Yes, in fact, an individual can become an ascended master. They can merge with the Absolute. They can become an enlightened spiritual being. They can live with the God of their understanding. There are many choices that a person can make at death and even before death. But the important thing is for us to realize who we truly are before death, because then we're prepared to meet death with grace and with dignity, and then at death we can experience this divine light, which is the true nature of our being, which is our higher self.
I know we've only scratched the surface, but there's lots more in the book Ascension. Susan Shumsky, I thank you very, very much for being with us. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you.